Alright. Hey there, YouTube. Dubs Rider here. And I kid you not, this is the third stinking time I've started this video. Oh man, every time I get going in this video, I just can't seem to get it started. But there was a bike that was on the side of the road back there, and you know, typically I like to pull over and make sure people are right. I don't know if there's something wrong with the bike or what was going on, but like he gets it started and he kind of rumbling and moving along, and then just kind of shoots out ahead of me there, and he kind of yelled something going by, and then I don't know, just weird stuff. But anyway, I wanted to shoot the likes and dislikes video on the 2015 Harley RoadGlide special. And unlike I did last time, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. But it was one of the top, one of the higher viewed videos that I made on my channel so far. And so I figured I should probably do one about this bike, and I know some people have had some questions about whether or not I like it so far. So I'm gonna kind of do it on three different things: the technology and whether that's useful, not useful, power and how I like the power on the bike, and then as far as comfort goes, which I kind of touched on in my last video, but it's just the comfort and whether or not, you know, it's something that I think will last long term. So first we'll kind of get going with the technology, the dual LED haymaker or daymaker, haymaker, I don't know where the hell that came from, but the dual LED daymaker headlights in the front there are thumbs up, very nice. I'm not overly impressed with that because I had that on my Honda too, and that was I think the really bright LED headlights are the way to go, to be honest with you. So I mean, it's great to have, they're really bright. I'm just not overly impressed. And the next up would be the Harley infotainment system. I can't tell you how many videos I've seen online about this infotainment system, and I can tell you, it's kind of weird to me anyway. Just some of the things that, like, I can plug my phone in and play music on it, but I can't change what type of music I'm listening to, or I can't change like an artist. It's kind of, I don't know, it's odd. So whatever you're playing when you plug it in, whether that be Spotify or like a track or an album by an artist or something like that, whatever you're playing when you plug the phone in or pair the phone is where your controls, like that's all the control you have as far as just changing that. So I really have gone to listening to like a Spotify so I can get some variation in the music and stuff like that. Now you can also plug in a USB with like playlists and tracks and stuff and do that too. I haven't played around with it too much. To me, it's got a ton of features in there. I'm a Google Maps user. I probably will never use the navigation on this thing. You know, it's got a ton of features, and it's, yeah, it's okay. I mean, yes, it's got some cool stuff on there, but will I use it? Maybe, maybe not. You know, I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy this bike just for the infotainment system. Just not something that I find overly intriguing. It's great. It's got a lot of capabilities, but honestly, I use it very rarely. And to go with the speakers are okay. They're not great. So you probably have to do some upgrades on it. And I know there's a whole slew of videos out there about upgrading the speakers and stuff. So I don't know that I will do it. I've got my Bluetooth headset that I can use for music. I don't know if I absolutely need to upgrade these to hear them outside of my helmet. So next is the gauges and things like that, and you've got a fair amount of information. This little toggle switch up here kind of gives you your miles till empty. You can kind of toggle through in this area down here and get quite a bit of information. Your fuel, your volts, so you know what your battery's doing, your RPMs, the fuel pack or the gauge package on this thing, you know, thumbs up. It really, I don't know that I would need anything more. I've got a gear indicator too to let me know what gear I'm in. You know, I don't really know that you would need anything more out of a gauge package for a motorcycle. So not bad. Thumbs up with that. The next up is the as far as, and I figure this, I consider this a technology deal, is the linked ABS or the linked braking system that Harley has on this thing, where you can apply brake. So over 25 miles an hour, I believe, both brakes are linked. So you can apply a handful of front brake, a handful of rear brake, and it's going to apply the same, I think it's 70-30. It keeps that ratio even on the bike. So if I, you know, if I grab a hold of this right now, I moved down gear there, but I don't, the bike doesn't squirrel, it doesn't move. It's rock freaking solid. And the brakes on this thing are, it's great. I can't say enough about the brakes on this thing. I've had a few times where I've had to come to a pretty quick stop, a lot quicker than I had really originally intended. And I can tell you, the braking system is solid. I have no complaints at all. Honestly, with the linked braking, even outside of the ABS, I would give the braking system on this a leg up over the Honda's braking system. It's a really solid system. I like the linked braking. It does have a cigarette lighter adapter for power. It's got the USB and the cubbies there. Self-canceling turn signals, which those are always nice. So next up would be kind of the control center of all the things that you can control, or the pod here with the cruise and controlling the infotainment system and the lights and all of that kind of stuff. I do have to say it is pretty darn good. Now, I have found that when I have some gloves on, it's a little less tactile. Could be that I've got the wrong size gloves or what have you. And I'm sorry I keep playing with this visor here because I can't quite get it right as far as the temperature goes tonight. But overall, very solid. You can control it. The more time I've got on this bike, the less I even look at things. Like, I can set the cruise without looking at it. I move tracks. I do a whole bunch without even looking at any of that. And you get a real natural feel. Your thumbs kind of fall in the right spots where they need to be. That's really solid. That is something that I did not have with my Honda, because you had to look down or you had it down here on the fuel tank here. So that's all really positive. And I know that there's probably some more stuff that I'm missing as far as technology goes on the bike. But overall, I think that it's pretty darn solid from a technology standpoint. Now, on to power. As far as the engine goes, I would have to say that the top-end power out of my Honda seemed to have a lot more top-end power. This thing has torque for days, though. I think this thing could pull a small village behind it. It is one torquey engine, that's for sure. And it's got plenty enough power to get me to whatever speed I need to get into, as far as, or as much danger as I need to get into in a quick hurry. And I know that actually will improve when I do the fuel and I do the intake and I do the exhaust. That is going to get better. So you know, as far as power plant goes and the engine goes, it's been really solid. It was more complex than just a standard oil change to do the 3-hole oil change, but it's not that difficult. You know, there's tons of videos out there on it, and you just kind of follow them step by step, and you're solid. You're good to go. It really wasn't difficult at all to change the the 3-hole oil on here and do kind of some basic maintenance on it. I can't complain at all about that. So as far as the motor goes, I would have to say that I'm a huge fan of the motor. It's everything I need it to be, and I'm quite sure that guys are out there making it more than it needs to be, and there's plenty of parts out there to do it. So that's really all I could say about the motor. It does have a 6th gear, which is really nice when you're riding out on the highway. That is one thing that I did not have with my Honda that I really wish it would have had. Is the 6th gear. It makes an incredible difference when you're on the highway to be able to put it in that 6th gear, and it just kind of loops along. It just kind of rumbles and it's real low, real comfortable. It's perfect. And I think if they put a 6th gear on that Honda, it would have made an incredible difference too in that motor. So I can't really say anything bad about that transmission. It's tactile, it's feedback. The one problem that I have had with this transmission is finding neutral. It is incredibly touchy to get this thing to go into neutral. Incredibly touchy. And it's something that you get annoyed with sometimes, because I find myself kind of playing with it. Now, I did switch to a separate transmission, or a separate transmission oil, and I did use the AMSoil in here this time for the clutch and the gearbox. So I'm hoping it has been more tactile. I have felt more of a little click getting into neutral than I did before. So I'm hoping that was just a matter of changing the oil and getting that updated. And I think it was R transmission fluid or something that I used on it. It was red. And hopefully it makes a little difference. I have noticed that I've had an easier time finding neutral. That's really my only qualm with it. This gearbox it's clunky. You know when it's in gear. You're not missing gears. If anything, I find that it's overly clunky a little bit. But personally, I like that because it gives you some feedback and lets you know that you got it in gear. It's kind of nice. So from a motor and a transmission standpoint, it's been great. Now, comfort and ride quality is the next thing that I'm going to be kind of touching base on here. And to touch base on that, I think you got to kind of start with your seating position. And I think the seating position in this thing is absolutely great. I'm riding kind of straight up and down, especially with my backrest. My feet, I have several different positions I can put them in with these floorboards. Those are incredibly comfortable. The seating position is great. Now the seat itself, when I've been in the bike maybe 3 hours or so, I do find my tush is getting a little numb, but it's really not bad, and it really does kind of depend on the roads that you're riding in. Now we're about to come into some, unless they've updated them, we're about to come into some pretty jarring roads here, and you can kind of hear my voice. This is one downside that I think is the suspension travel itself. Man, it is so short, and I know that there's some fixes out there that people have been doing with I think it's progressive shocks. There is on the Ultra, I think, version of this, you can get a air ride, which can make a difference too. But man, the travel on the suspension on this thing is just, oh god, that is jarring, just jarring. And I don't think that I am going to be riding down this road. Let's see here. Do a little dirt traveling here. Oh God, that suspension is definitely something that that I may have to figure out soon, because that, I mean, you can get some real kidney busters on this thing. And I know that's something that a lot of people complain about, is the suspension, but man, is it not great. Now, I've got the special version with the adjustable shocks, and I've got them kind of cranked up there. I know it's not a matter of compression. They compress. I've got them adjusted correctly for the weight that I've got in the bike, and they're not great, to be honest with you. Not that the Honda suspension from the factory was great, but it definitely is ahead of this suspension. There's no qualms about that. The suspension definitely needs some work on this bike. The windshield that comes with it from the factory, it looks sharp. I really do love the look of it. But I did switch out to the Clockworks 14-inch Sport flare and smoke, and I have noticed an incredible difference in buffeting and wind. It has just been great. No complaints at all since putting this windshield on there. Now, I've got about probably 400 or 500 miles, or no, maybe 200 or 300 miles I've put on since I put this windshield on here. But it has made an incredible difference in the ride. Much more pleasant now. And I know that the Ultra comes with the taller windscreen, and so I can imagine that those guys right out of the factory are getting a little bit better. The vents, somewhat useful. I've kind of played around with them, especially on windy days. I've got them open right now. I've got the top one closed. I've been trying them in different positions since I put this new windshield on here to kind of see which ones I like open on what kind of occasions. They do a good job of getting some wind on you. If it's an extremely hot day out, like the other day, it was like, ooh, I have to say it was probably about 95 or so, unless at least it felt like 95 with humidity or whatever. So, and open those things up and you get some breeze. So from that standpoint, it's comfortable. These little wind flag things that they've got down here, I don't know that they do anything, to be honest with you. I haven't tried taking them off, but I've been feeling the wind and stuff. I don't think they're pushing anything. Overall, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the customization is on this thing, though, is incredible. So anything I don't like, there's tons of options out there to kind of fix it and make it a little better. So definitely no complaints about that. I will be getting the Harley heated grips. Excuse me there. I will be getting the heated grips to put on here for some of the cooler rides. I think I'm going to do the soft lowers. That way I have that kind of option of quickly taking them on or off. But for this fall, I'll be doing the soft lowers. That way I kind of extend my riding season with the heated grips and the soft lowers. So I mean, overall, but just that one bump there, like, you can feel it even when you're riding at speed. Like, this thing it's jarring. Definitely needs some more travel in the suspension. So yeah, so that covers electronics, that covers the motor, and that covers the ride. And so I think I'm gonna make this into a two-parter. So look forward to that next part, where I'm actually going to do a walk around and kind of show you some of the things that I'm talking about. I don't know if I'm going to get into the infotainment system at all, because that's just like a rabbit hole that you go down and there's like 5,000 things in there, and I don't even know if I even really want to go down that hole. But I can kind of walk you around the bike and kind of show you some of the things that I've done to it. So it'll be a walk around and updates on some of the mods that I've done, and then B, it'll be kind of some of my likes and dislikes, and I can kind of show you what I think I might do to fix those, or make some recommendations, or get some recommendations from you guys, I guess. So so that'll be part 2 of this video. So look forward to that coming probably in the next couple days, I'm hoping, after posting this video, that I'll get them up in time. And I really appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave some comments below. All my social media links are below there. And until next time, guys, ride safe. I'll catch you later.